Kabetha for the chance to go to the finals, the grand finals, where they will face Cruel.
This one is going to be a good one. We've got two really, really good runners here. We've got Poorscythe and Soma. Both of them have times in the 125s. So expect a really, really solid race from the two of them.
And Poorscythe has been grinding out attempts lately. I believe he was mentioned racing you, Double?
Yeah, I did a bunch of races with him yesterday for fun. One of them being off, basically beat me by 6 seconds both times in the 127s. After, I mean, I just de-rusted the game just for fun. So it was definitely a fun time.
I like how you just get a casual 127. I struggle, and I can't even cut 130. It looks like Poorscythe is doing his menuing now, and will be buying his items now. So Soma, already slight route diversions. Soma will be buying his items in Provoca. Poorscythe buying them now.
Yeah, from talking to Poorscythe, I know that he just decided not to make the switch to buying the items later, just for simplicity's sake. He's so used to doing it here that he continues to do it here. There's not much of a time difference between doing it later or doing it here.
I mean, is the time difference so negligible that it doesn't really matter at all? Because the only difference is you buying ethers and Provoca.
Yeah, it's a few seconds.
Right? Yeah. Okay.
It's a few seconds to save your muscle memory, and he decides to take that couple seconds lost for his muscle memory. It's totally understandable.
Now, Double here has routed the game so meticulously that the menu map movement has been routed down to the step by Double's calculations, which is one of the reasons why this game has gotten down on time as much as it has.
Yeah, when I first started running this game, the world record was in the mid-130s, and it has since dropped to 122. So there's been a big difference in time there.
Yep, the first original world record was held by yours truly. It was a 137.57. Unbeatable for the longest time, but eventually RNG and Route just helped crush that time, get it down, and now the world record is a 122, which is on emulator. I believe the current console world record is held by Poorscythe at, what is that, 125?
125, yeah. So,
yeah.
A lot of things just happened there that we kind of didn't even talk about. So they set their cursor to memory and configuration, and whenever they switch between characters, depending on what slots they are on, they can equip different weapons or armor. So yeah, they bought a hammer and they changed it into knight's armor, which they sold one of for money to buy potions, antidotes, and phoenix downs. And then they changed the leather cap that they got in Chaos Shrine for the judgment staff, which is really good.
It's kind of broken.
Yeah, this game has its own way of doing things. You have the GBA version, which is like double the time of this game, simply because it doesn't have the equipment glitch.
What is the GBA glitchless time? Is it like 310 or something like that? I'd have to go on the leaderboard and check. Oh, 226. Okay, so it's barely an hour longer.
Yeah, NES is like 2 hours, 59 minutes.
Yeah, NES is closer to 3. Okay. And NES time held by, what is it, Gyre right now?
Yeah. So, unsure what happened on Soma's screen there.
We got a close-up. We got a close-up of the action. We got to get that football. You know, it's just within. It's got to break the plane. That's how you score the touchdown.
So, Soma's over there playing Timco Bowl. Got it.
Yep. There might be some sports references today. Because we are the trio.
For what it's worth.
The commentator. Yep.
For what it's worth, I woke up like 15 minutes ago. I'm just going to get that out there. That way people have a reference as to why I'm tired if they've heard me commentate before.
So, Soma, slight lead going into the bridge.
Well,
Both runners getting encounters pre-bridge. Poorscythe with the ambush, it's going to slow him down a little bit. Ideally, you can get to the bridge without getting a single encounter.
to be fair, on
that
some
would happen.
there is a route
Go
diversion.
ahead. Yep, there is a route divergence. It's not quite. It's probably about 5 seconds, but that ambush just added a little bit of time to it on Poorscythe's end.
Yeah, Poorscythe buying the items early gives him a 10-second disadvantage as far as shopping is concerned. It's about 10 seconds extra to go do your shopping early. Well, it's not that it adds the time, but he took the extra 10 seconds in Cornelia to not have to take that extra time in Provoca.
So it'll come out to be a wash later. Meanwhile, Soma's getting really good RNG. He's already in Provoca.
So yeah, we talked about the judgment staffs. Here they're going to use them as an item. Yeah, it nukes everything.
If you played the NES game and you remember the spell Nuke, level 8 Black Wizard spell, there it is.
Casting the judgment staff as an item, cast flare, does enough damage to kill early mobs in the game. Without intelligence to back it up, you're not going to get a lot of damage out of it. But it is a very good AoE spell, and we use it to great effect.
It's faster to wait the 8 seconds for that spell than it is to attack all of them separately and take 3 turns.
Yep. Now, both of these runners probably won't do puzzle. I know you were practicing it yesterday. Oh, wow. Soma got a little lost there. Trying to swim through the shores to get out of Provoca.
So here you're going to see Poorscythe pop into the armor shop. He's going to pick up an item to glitch, and that will be the leather shield. He's going to be turning that into a mage staff, and this is where both runners' routes will diverge. So Soma is running the black magic route, from what I can tell. And basically what that entails is he's going to pick up tier 2 AoE magic for his black mage by learning the spells. And we're going to be using that to kill off unrunnables and mobs that are hard to run from. Poorscythe, on the other hand, is going to be using the equipment glitch to get him items that have the exact same effect. The difference between the two routes is basically who will be casting the magic. For Soma, you're going to see the black mage taking prominence and casting all the spells manually, whereas in Poorscythe's route, we're going to stack intelligence onto the white mage. The white mage will be the one using the items to cast the spells. There's not much difference between the two routes. So each route has its own advantages and disadvantages. The time difference is very negligible, a handful of seconds at most. Part of the advantages of using the black magic route is there's less menuing and inventory management, and the pros of using the white magic route is that you save the black mage to be able to use the barbarian sword and get some extra damage output physically from the black mage. Makes some of the fiend fights a little bit faster. So Soma getting stuck with some wolves here, and Poorscythe has managed to catch back up on the walk to Marsh Cave.
Now, do you think either runner will do Lust Daggers when they get to Crescent Lake, or are they going to go Sage's Staff? What does glitch into the Sage's Staff? That's actually something I haven't paid attention to.
It's the Mithril Shield, I believe. No, the Mithril Gloves. One of the Mithril items that you pick up in, or Bronze Gloves. So one of the items in the chest in Elfine Castle that you unlock with the Misty Key.
Bronze Gloves.
Give you the Sage's Staff. Bronze Gloves, that's it.
Okay, because that was a route change made within the last 6 months that I never paid attention to, and I've always been curious about.
Now,
maybe that
from my understanding, both runners will be using Lust Dagger.
Okay.
And I've made my own variation on the route itself for the Black Magic route, where I keep the Sage's Staff on the Black Mage and give him the Lust Dagger later on in the route. But I will give the Lust Dagger to the Thief to compensate for the agility loss later on.
Okay. Well, the Lust Dagger is naturally equipable by both the Black Mage and the Thief, so you wouldn't even have to glitch it necessarily, as long as you already have one. And, oh wow, Poorscythe just cruising straight to the Pisco Demons, healing all of his party members.
Yeah, it is naturally equipable, but it is easier to glitch it in the way that the menu operates, like the way you actually do the menu in my variation of the route makes it easier to glitch as opposed to just manually equip it. Just based on where courses are. So Poorscythe in the lead at Crown. Soma is getting lucky here with 3 Pisco Demons. In the Black Magic variation of the route, your experience in the early game is extremely tight. You need to hit level 8 by the time you're finished Astos so you can pick up Thundara and Fyra on your way back. If you get unlucky with the number of Pisco Demons and Astos does not kill off a character, you can have issues with your experience and might have to stop and fight a mob. But because we saw 3 Pisco Demons, Soma is in a good spot and should have enough experience to hit level 8 after Astos.
I mean, Astos could be nice and kill off the Black Mage.
That can always happen too. That is worst case scenario for Black Magic Road.
Yep. Luckily, with the way the targeting works, the character in the first slot has a 50% chance of getting targeted. A character in the second slot, which in this case for both runners is a Thief, is the 25%, and then it's 12.5% for the last 2 slots. So the chances of your Black Mage being targeted with that spell are fairly slim, but since this is FF1, anything can happen.
Soma outside of Marsh Cave, finally. Poorscythe has about a 45-second advantage at this point, depending on encounters. Soma is having a really nice walk-up.
Yeah, I was about to say, generally the game does not give this RNG.
Oh, so, I know.
Soma is still having a really good walk-up. This is what, the second encounter?
I thought those
2 encounters walk from Marsh Cave to Astos.
That's really good. Neither one of them ambushes, too.
I wish I could get that luck.
Yep.
On Poorscythe's
now
side,
with good magic
from the warrior.
Yep. But if you get a good magic roll, it won't be an issue. Your white mage can get a high roll.
116 low roll.
That's a low roll.
This might be
this
a
one should still
fight.
kill him. Should still kill him. Oh, Soma. Okay.
That's a 1-rounder for Poorscythe.
Wow, that's a really low roll from Soma's fight. This one might be a 2-rounder. Oh yeah. I forget how many hit points Astos has in this fight. It's close to 400.
420, I think, or 480.
Okay. So most of the time, your damage will kill it in 1 round, but you can get really bad rolls, and it'll take 2.
420.
That'll come into play next Friday.
Godlike, yeah.
Yep. Leo, all of us are here.
Yeah, we're all here. We just added double.
Yep.
Leo is in chat. He is anxiously waiting to see the results of this one, as if he wins his next race, playing the winner of this one.
And then the winner of that these 2 races goes on to face Kabetha in the losers finals.
And man, stopping into Alfheim, he's going to Fyra Thundara, and we'll see if he decides to pick up the gold mules while he's here, which he does.
Hopefully he does.
So both runners opting for safety.
Yep,
kind of glad
needle
that Poorscythe didn't get bad habits from me yesterday, as we had a gentleman's agreement to go full YOLO. No saves, no needles, nothing.
That would have been an interesting race.
That would have been full YOLO. Yeah, that's... Disaster can happen quickly.
Are you speaking from
Especially-
experience?
Maybe.
Oh,
I can tell you
Poorscythe.
there are ways to get out of petrification, which I proved to Poorscythe yesterday. I had no needles. I had my thief at 1 HP. He got petrified, but the attack killed him, and so I didn't need the gold needle in the end.
So yeah, looks like we got them synced up
okay,
here.
So nice.
No, nobody did puzzle. Nobody does puzzle except for you, Leo, and Leno. I occasionally do puzzle. Just I've not been in a race.
I still practice it because I'm hoping for that good run where I'll get the good RNG, I'll get the emergency exit, and then all of a sudden, bam.
Yeah, you'll pull a
Someone
Leo.
creates-
No, you'll pull a
Yeah.
Leo. You'll use emergency exit and lose like 3 minutes.
If
I've had that
Poorscythe-
happen before too.
If Poorscythe was going to use a puzzle attempt, he's generally going to do it before Vampire. He tends to see where he's at getting to Melmond, and then if he needs to catch up, will attempt the puzzle at that particular point in time. He doesn't do it this early.
Poorscythe almost getting broom blocked.
You know, that's actually a smart move to not do it early to see where you are.
Oh no! Soma did get broom blocked.
The only reason that you would do a puzzle early is if you're doing a PB attempt and you are basically intending to reset if you don't get the emergency exit immediately. Otherwise,
That's
it's safer to just kind of wait and see what sort of time you're at getting to the Caverniverse section, and then decide from there.
That's fair.
So Soma has a little bit of extra stuff in his toolkit to deal with any Sahuagin packs he may encounter, which he does not. By buying Thundar early, he has a way to kill them, of course, like would. So Poorscythe getting to Mystic Key first. Soma's not too far behind.
Now coming up is everyone's favorite equipment glitch, where we get the Thief's Armlets, which for a brief time I believe was routed out. No, that was the Black Garb and Survival Vest. I'm sorry. No, Thief's Armlet was always in the route. It was I think it was the Survival Vest that was routed out at one point, and then routed back in.
I had contemplated on routing out the Peace Armlet at one point for the Ruby Armlet, but it didn't give enough agility for my liking.
The Thief's Armlet is important in the sense that it adds 5 agility for each one equipped. So it's a 15-point agility boost, and agility really matters in this game. Your agility helps you determine whether or not you can run away from your encounters.
Interestingly enough, so does intelligence, which is why you see runners equipping the Sage Staff during this menu. And Soma needs a Sage Staff on his Black Mage regardless in order to kill the demons inside Caverniverse. But by sticking an extra one on his White Mage, he is going to kind of give himself a little extra boost running away.
Really? Intelligence factors in too?
Intelligence does factor in this.
Huh. Huh.
that revelation, man. That revelation.
Like, I remember seeing the formula...
Poorscythe stopping him to pick up a Mithril Knife. That's going to be relevant to his route. Soma's get the Mithril Knife. Doesn't need it. The Mithril Knife will allow Poorscythe to glitch himself another spellcasting item, which he needs to kill unrunnables. Soma, having the spell already, doesn't need it.
But what do the fans want?
Well, the fans want RNG.
No, they don't. No, they don't.
The The fans want 130s.
Then they don't want RNG.
And we are nearly synced up now.
We were, and then you said something, and then someone got an encounter. The fans don't want puzzle.
I am your commentator's Chris today.
The fans don't want puzzle. Leo is lying to everybody. Puzzle does not exist in this game.
So both runners inside Durgar, Poorscythe in there a little bit earlier, were basically blowing up a little piece of land to allow our ship to escape. Now, this cutscene takes about a minute, so Poorscythe should be out and on his way around the 21-minute mark.
Yeah, they've got to put on their shades, and then they walk away because cool guys don't look at explosions. And then there goes an ecosystem. It's fine.
Questions in chat. I wonder if Warmack ever shows up during these races. Yes. Very rarely, but yes.
Now,
to this date, we have three Warmack encounters during the tournament.
Yeah. We want Tyrannosaur.
Yes. We are missing 2 of the rarest encounters in the game. We're missing an Earth Elemental on Lich's floor in the Cavern of Earth, and we're missing Tyrannosaur on the world map, which we have 3 chances to see. But rare encounters that they choose not to show up.
It's unlikely that you're going to get an Earth Elemental inside Cavern of Earth, as most runners will pick up safety. Now, there is a backup gold needle that you can use as an optional strat should you decide not to get them and get petrified. There are 2 of them. One of them is about a 30-second detour, and the other one is locked behind an Earth Elemental spike tile. So if there was a runner that decided not to get gold needles, your chances of seeing the Earth Elemental would go up. With petrification being a thing, you might have to go pick up that safety.
Yep. But more to the point, the Earth Elemental is the rarest encounter on the floor with the lowest encounter rate. So the chances of seeing it are just abysmally low.
It's like Warmack.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is a close race, guys. What are your predictions?
I want a close race through and through, wire to wire.
Well, they're getting that. I mean, oh, in case anybody was wondering, Poorscythe is on console, Soma's on emulator. You can tell emulator because it has little graphical glitches in the sea every now and then.
That's mostly dependent on your settings. I use emulator myself, and I don't have graphical glitches.
I have it, and I just learned to ignore it now.
One thing I've seen from both runners, their Black Mage has really low HP. Poorscythe has 79, Soma has 81.
It's definitely going to be something to watch out for on both runners' side as they get into the grind. You realistically want your Black Mage before you hit Evil Eye. That will ensure that they survive the initial Thundara. That you need to kill off your Thief and Warrior. Alternatively, if you get lucky, you can have your Thief and Warrior die on the way there, and then not have to worry about waiting for Thunder. So Pisco Demon's here from Poorscythe. He's got 2 of them. He's going to elect to physically attack them. It's not a bad idea for the first one because he needs to have his cursor set to physical attacks for Vampire anyways. If there was more than 2 Pisco Demons, he would have to Judgment Staff them. Soma, on the other hand, on the Black Magic route, a bit better of a way to deal with them, as a single Thundara with a Sage's Staff will knock them out.
Soma had excellent encounter luck so far. Is this his first encounter on the 3rd floor?
Yeah, I do believe.
Now, Wraiths are runnable, unlike Pisco Demons. The difference is that they are extremely difficult to run away from. With 2 or less, it's really a coin flip whether or not you want to run away from them or not. Soma is electing to kill them, Doing so nets him the lead as Poorscythe is getting rammed by encounters on 3F. Now, both runners look like they're going to get a sub 25 Vampire, which in a race is a very solid.
You said something and then Pisco Demon showed up to wreck that.
It's going to be very close to 25 minutes.
Yep. Double Drop is the secondary commentator's curse today.
I don't commentate. I'm here for the jokes, man. I'm here for the jokes and the memes. Also to make fun of
picked up his Star Ruby. Yes. Soma picked up his Star Ruby and is now on his way out. We don't even need this Star Ruby. We're just getting it because it's a collection item. It's actually not important to the plot.
So yeah, we've not talked about this, but this game has no plot. It is just fetch quests. So you grab this thing, you use it here, or you give it to this person and get that thing. That's all this game is. It has no story. It has no plot.
Well, Soma in a tough spot as he forgot to ether his Black Mage. This is the one drawback to Black Magic route is that while you don't have the inventory management, you have empty. And so by forgetting to ether his Black Mage, he now does not have access to Thundara and has to take the extra time to the Pisco Demons. Because there's 4, he's required to 2-round them, which is going to cost him a little bit of time here.
And then when you look on Poorscythe's screen, you're going to see the proper route and how it works.
All told, there's not much of a difference between the 2 encounters as Poorscythe needs to take the 8-second Judgment Staff animation to kill them off. So took about 13 seconds with the 2 rounds. Now, if he had access to Thundara and had his MP at full, that fight would have taken 4 seconds, as the Black Mage with the Sage's Staff attacks first due to his high agility, and Thundara is a 2-second animation, so an 8-second one that Poorscythe has to deal with the Judgment Staff.
I just don't like the MP management of that route.
It's probably not the worst thing. If you need to, you can sell an extra Knight's Armor for more ethers.
I mean
the MP management is routed so that you have enough ethers at the beginning of the game to survive you the whole game. It's just a matter of keeping an eye on your MP levels when you get into randoms, and if you know it's you need to.
Yeah, just with my luck.
That I think.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say with the route that Chris I think uses and what I use, MP management for your Black Mage is irrelevant. You ether him once and he's good for the rest of the game.
I know, right? It's okay. So I did a run the other day to grab save states to practice my menus, and I pulled Leno strats. I'm okay with Leno strats. It gives me something better to look at than the frickin' warrior the entire time.
What did you do?
My ninja may be in the lead of my party.
Oh.
Yeah.
And the only reason why I personally do that is because of a mechanic from the NES version. If your thief is in the lead slot, your chances of preemptives and ambushes are actually based on who's in the lead slot because it compares their luck stat, and thief has the highest luck.
Oh hey, so, look, the warrior died. That was the best segue. I don't know where to go from there.
So theoretically, with the thief and lead spots, your encounter luck should be fairly good. However, my encounter luck is garbage. So thief and lead slots confirm good strat.
I'm fairly positive that they changed that mechanic in the remakes.
They probably did. We've been running this game long enough. That probably is the case.
It's fine. I just like something other than the warrior. Everybody uses the warrior. Leno uses the ninja, so I'm gonna follow Leno and use the ninja.
The issue with having the ninja in the top side is that it completely changes all your routes. The warrior, the position of your party members in this route is designed specifically to optimize your menus so that you have the less amount of cursor movements possible.
To be fair, the menus aren't all that different. But what it does is whenever you use haste, going from battle to battle, I don't have to move my haste marker. I can just hold X and win.
Poorscythe with
had
a 9 undead encounter elects to just kill them off instead of risking the paralock.
That was probably the wise call.
Am I still echoing?
I don't think so. Oh, yep. So we're having a slight technical issue, as one would expect from a professional broadcast. This thing does happen from time to time. So Soma getting has a sizable lead on Poorscythe now. On his way back through the Earth Cave, going to take on the Lich.
Oh, it's going to be good to keep an eye on if Soma gets poisoned here. He does not. So there's an optional strat for Lich. Lich has a chance to cast Blizzaro, which will instantly wipe your party. You just don't have the HP to survive it. You would if your warrior or ninja, if you had enough max HP, was at full strength. The issue is you need them low enough to be able to be killed off at Evil Eye by Thundara. So an optional strat that you can use is if your warrior gets poisoned on the way to Lich, is to leave him poisoned and just occasionally throw potions on him. And when you get to Lich, you heal him to full HP so that he can tank the Blizzard and you don't have to save. And then because he's poisoned, he will tick back down by the time you get to him. It makes that fight a lot safer and will basically save you from A, having to safety save, and B, having to reload that safety save if you get unlucky.
This is true. And speaking of HP, Poorscythe's fighter has 223, or 233, I'm sorry. So if he does get his fighter poisoned...
His thief with 178 is enough to survive those. So at this point, even if his thief gets poisoned, he could pull it off.
That's if he heals up all the way.
We will see what strat he does.
Am I still echoing, by the way?
Yes. I think so. Technology is great when it works. It never works.
This was the reason that we picked up Fyra on Soma's side in Alfheim, was to kill undead packs. It's not just useful for the wraiths. If you get a nasty white pool ambush, you can use Fyra there as well, whereas Poorscythe still has to use the 8-second Judgment Staff.
Although he... Oh, wow. 1 in 64 Ochre Jelly encounter for Poorscythe. Nice. But to that point, he does have the Mage's Staff. He could have elected to use that if he chose to.
He doesn't have the intelligence to kill him.
Oh, that's a fair point.
The issue is that the intelligence required to actually kill with your items is a lot higher, because the items don't cast at full strength, as opposed to the magic. So you need a little bit of extra intelligence. Unfortunately, the Black Mage does not have enough intelligence to cast the item and kill them, but he does have enough intelligence to cast the magic and kill him with the use of the Sage's Staff.
Welcome back, Chris. Hopefully our issues have been resolved.
Yeah, I restarted Discord. I don't know if they are or not.
Now,
Well, I don't hear an echo.
what advantage you get having the black magic on Soma's route is negated a little bit by having better routing through Ice Cave on Poorscythe's route. Overall, Ice Cave is still somewhat safer than the older variations of the route before Lust Dagger, but Poorscythe has a lot more safety inside Cavern of Ice than the Black Mage route does.
All hail the barbarian sword route.
Oh, I think Poorscythe was on autopilot. He's gonna Judgment Staff Lich.
No, the reason Poorscythe likes Judgment Lich here is that with only 2 characters attacking, both mages have Sage's staffs on. There is a possibility that you can lull with the barbarian sword, and it requires 3 hits instead of 2. The Judgment Staff is basically there to ensure that you get a 1-round fight, because nobody wants a 2-round Lich. Nobody.
Nobody.
Oh, did he put Sage's Staffs on? I didn't see that. That's why. I see.
Oh hey, big eyes. So yeah, big eyes are terrible enemies. They cast gaze. It takes time. We don't want to see them.
That's all they cast. They don't do anything else. They just cast gaze.
They look deep into your soul and then tell you that your run is over. I mean, tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong.
No, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. I've had that happen.
Yeah, it's from experience. So yeah, Soma took a really big lead here. I mean, it's not too terribly big, but it's a big lead.
It's going to be interesting to see the strat that Soma decides to use for Cavern of Ice. There's 2 of them with his route. He can either elect to equip the Lust Dagger on the Black Mage, which will drop his intelligence to the point where he will now have to use the Judgment Staff to kill any Pisco Demons that he comes across. Or he can keep the Sage's Staff on the Black Mage and elect to stick a Lust Dagger onto the Thief, which will give him the extra run chance while still having the ability to kill Pisco Demons. And it's really a toss-up between runners. So we're going to take a look in his menu and see what he decides to do.
Welcome back.
Thank you.
So here he's putting black garbs on all of his characters. An agility boost from the Thief's Armlet's going to help him to run away a little bit better.
Nah, the encounter rate in this game's not nuts. It's perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with the encounter rate.
I'd like to say that the encounter. I like to say that the encounter rate is very fluid. It can go north or south,
Very quickly.
without a moment's notice.
So Soma is keeping the Sage's Staff on the Black Mage. I did not see him equip a Lust Dagger onto the Thief, which means that he's going to sacrifice a little bit of his running ability while still keeping the ability to kill Pisco Demons with a tier 2 spell rather than the Judgment Staff. So it's going to be interesting to see if he's able to run from encounters easily inside Cavern of Ice, or he's going to have a bit of difficulty.
Alright, now Poorscythe's fighter just decided to take a dirt nap. We'll see if he decides to stay that way.
I would imagine he would.
Yeah, that's what I do with mine, is I leave them dead. It's riskier, but eh. It's less I have to kill off.
It's also more experience on your Thief should you
It's true.
encounter unrunnables, and it gives you standard Black Mage to speed up the grind at the cost of a little less safety.
Safety is very important in this run, or at least from my experience.
Nah, man, just YOLO it.
YOLO!
So Poorscythe having a little bit of difficulty getting those black garbs finished. Soma, on the other hand, is movement is a little bit on the sloppy side at the moment. He's gonna need to clean that up if he wants to maintain this.
Nah, it's fine. It's fine.
Maybe some race nerves are kicking in.
Only thing that's gonna happen with that is Soma's gonna have to fight more enemies, potentially. He'll be fine.
And one bad unrunnable, and that's it. Your lead is gone.
Yep.
Oh, you mean the double dragons, right? Those aren't
They're not
unrunnable.
unrunnable.
They're not unrunnable, but they still happen.
We call them the Double Dragons because Double here has had personal experience with the dragons. It's not good.
I've had numerous world records killed by those dragons.
Or Dark Wizards. Dark Wizard ambushes are fun.
Dark Wizards are supposed to ambush you crazy like, but they don't in this version.
Oh, hey, look, Mind Flayers.
So with the lowered amount of agility that has by only having one less stagger, he may elect to kill off Wraith Spectre packs, which will cost him some time. This ambush of 9 of them will definitely be a scary moment for him if they do decide to paralock. He's gonna have to kill them regardless now. With 2 characters paralyzed.
No, this is not.
He's gonna try and flee on the Thief and Fyra. Thief manages to escape.
Ooh, just kidding.
None of this game is manipulated. This game manipulates the runners.
Theoretically, manipulation is possible. We were toying with the idea of trying to get a manip, but it requires frame perfect movement. And it's very hard to keep the manip long enough into the game to manage to pull it off. The issue with manipulating this game is that there's multiple RNG strings, and not all of them are based on, like some of them are frame based and some of them are based on time. And so keeping those multiple RNG strings synced up is near impossible. We've managed to RNG manip up to Garland, but getting anything past that is just unrealistic. Most people haven't learned the RNG manip up to Garland because it requires frame perfect menuing.
Soma's HP is really low. I hope he heals here pretty soon.
Man, it would be a shame if he went into Evil Eye and forgot to heal.
So here, because he decided to keep on the Sage's Staff, he is still able to thunder other things.
Poorscythe making a safety save. That's a smart move.
87 HP on the Black Mage is kind of scary. Thundara on a high roll kill off the Black Mage, cost him a bit of time. Gaze first on the Warrior, which kills him, and no need to wait for Thundara. That is exactly what the Doctor ordered for someone.
Oh, Poorscythe.
White Dragons.
Poorscythe not taking any chances. He is just going straight for the kill on those White Dragons. Do not blame him at all.
Luckily, that was not an ambush. Oh, that is okay. So that is the next rare encounter for Poorscythe. I feel
Poorscythe ambushed on the spike tile.
I can already hear him cursing you.
If it makes anyone feel better, on my D-West on Friday night, my first encounter in Ice Cave was White Dragon Ambush.
That's almost poetic.
I ran away. They both physicaled, I ran away.
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
That's very fortunate. The White Dragons actually have a pretty high agility, so they're actually fairly difficult to run from at this juncture.
Yeah, the less dagger helps. In previous routes, we just soloed everything with the Barbarian Sword. And so we were missing the nice agility boost that the Lust Dagger gives. The Lust Dagger gives us enough agility to semi-consistently run from White Dragons. It's still scary. And especially pre-grind, you should still consider killing them if you're in a race or on a good lead.
So Soma just finished his grinding. Poorscythe is just starting it.
There's about a 1.5-minute gap between the two runners. The grind takes anywhere between 150 and 30, depending on your games of the grind. Poorscythe should have a quicker grind because he killed a lot more enemy packs than Soma has.
So
and real quickly, Soma could not run from this spike Now he had a chance of a stun lock. It's just going to kill him now.
So I think I figured out the echoing. That was my bad. I had my headset turned all the way up and it was catching everything from my headphones into my microphone.
Huh.
Yeah, I looked over and noticed it and I was like, oh, that's probably why. My bad, guys. I'm sorry.
Sometimes the commentary team does not have pro audio setups with a 5-channel mixer.
I would like a 5-channel. I would like a 5-channel mixer, but it costs money.
I just exist and do things.
Worst case, you could get a virtual 5-channel mixer.
If they're any good.
Nah, Voice Meter's not bad. So this stream is sponsored by Voice Meter.
Alright, so Poorscythe only got his mages up to... Yeah. Poorscythe only got his mages up to 17.
Yeah, so Poorscythe does a more riskier strat. He does 17 plus 1, and then relies on getting Nightmare and Dragon Zombie XP to push him over the threshold to 19. Depending on how many unrunnables he kills, he may or may not have to Dragon Zombie Citadel to make up the... it's a little bit of a risk. It's a gamble that pays off, I would say, about 75% of the time.
Mm-hmm. So...
to answer a question in chat, the world record for the game is 122. A good time for the game is under 128. 130 is really the benchmark that separates the top tier runners from the middle of the pack.
Wow.
Once you cross the 130 mark, the game becomes a lot more grindy to get good times.
For the record, as of a couple of days ago, Poorscythe and Soma's PBs are like 3 seconds apart. 125.11 for Poorscythe and 125.14 for Soma. So these are some pretty good runners.
Here, Soma has that chance, that first chance for the Tyrannosaur encounter. He's not going to get it.
You mean Sandworm?
Well, actually, Sandworm and Tyrannosaur are on the same grid, so if you can see a Sandworm, you can see a Tyrannosaur.
No.
So from personal experience, 130 is really the benchmark where you need to have solid execution and good RNG to get times lower than that. At 130, if you have good execution, RNG shouldn't matter. The better your execution is, the less RNG will matter at the. But the 130 mark is really the threshold where you need to start crossing your fingers for good RNG to get times below that. Of course, you could just be unlucky, like some of our commentators, and have good execution and still not manage to. I mean, that happened.
Yeah, my execution with this game has actually gotten worse over time. I used to have really great execution, and now it's just like kind of bad on all angles. Bad RNG, not so great execution.
I just play the game.
So Soma, interestingly enough, is going to physical these miniature zombies as a 2-round. He should be able to fire them and kill them, although he may have switched the Black Mage to a Lust Dagger. I don't think he has, because if he did, he physical the 3rd Minotaurs with the Lust Dagger. That's an interesting decision on his point. Fyra can kill off the Minotaur zombies. I'm not sure if he's aware of that.
Yeah, they only have about 225 HP or something like that, so yeah, he should have been able to Fyra, no problem.
With the Sage of Staff on and Fyra, the Minotaur zombies, if they don't die, it's a damage roll, and a very low one at that.
So, well, both runners avoided the Sandworm. There will not be a game over wipe today.
Well, you say that, but we still have to go back.
Yeah, we still have to go back. I think,
So after picking up the healing staff, Soma has stuck a lordly robe on the Black Mage to further boost his intelligence. I did not see if he put the Lust Dagger back on him there. In my own personal preference on his route, I would stick the Lust Dagger on him at that menu and put the Barbarian Sword back onto the Thief. It looks like he already has a Barbarian Sword on the Thief, so at this point it doesn't matter.
Now let's see if we can get some Blessed RNG and get Poorscythe the third 1 in 64 encounter. There's a Minotaur zombie, or Dragon zombie, I'm sorry. 1 in 64 encounter in this place. Oh, Soma getting a 7-horn devil ambush. That is really bad.
Poorscythe has managed to catch up a lot of time in between the grind and here. I know his grind was faster because he had higher levels going in, and he grinded to a lower level than Soma did, which will allow Poorscythe to gain back a bit of time. And with the encounter rate in Citadel, Poorscythe is almost caught up.
Soma's getting my encounter luck. And he is skipping the gauntlets. He does not need the gauntlets for the magic cast, but he also does not need the golden staff for the end of the game because he has a sage's staff.
And Poorscythe you will see pick up the gauntlets as he does need them to kill enemies in Sunken. The sage's staff was a really, really good find.
Oh, Soma got the Mega Elixir drop.
Again, his PB had the Mega Elixir drop too, which he used pretty nicely on Chaos in his PB. That's the third Mega Elixir drop I've seen in 2 days from the Dragon Zombies. It's the rare drop from them. So if things go dicey on Chaos for Soma, now that he has the Mega Elixir, he can elect to use the Mega Elixir to heal back up to full. This gives him some flexibility. He may not have to use a Giant Stomp to fight. And if he does get Magic Pattern, he can use the Mega Elixir after Tsunami to get himself back up to full HP to survive Cyclone.
Soma's going to turn in that Rat's Tail, get his class change, become Honorable Warriors. Poorscythe, oh, he is in Sandworm territory. But it looks like he's going to be okay.
The Sandworms are really scary because they have a move called Earthquake that has a chance to instant KO party members. And with any instant KO attacks that are AoE, that's a chance to just wipe her. It's a rare encounter, but that desert is a very scary walk for a lot of runners.
I personally game over to that Sandworm before, lost about 12 minutes. Because my previous safety save was in Ice Cave. Pre-grind, I think.
Oh, Soma with the Hellhound Ogre Mage ambush. This is unrunnable and not a common encounter. He's going to be forced to stop each other.
I thought he was going to skip picking up the Giant's Tonics there. That could have been dicey.
It's very unlucky for Soma to get that Ogre Mage Hellhound. Now, he could have Judgment Staff them, which was a mistake on his part. I think by physically attacking them and having the Black Mage flee, it cost him more time than the Judgment Staff would have taken. Getting this after he does his shopping, he'll have access to Blizzaro, which he can use to one-shot that encounter. So getting it before buying magic is a little bit unlucky on his end, but he did make a mistake in his execution of getting rid of that encounter, which is going to help Poorscythe catch up a little bit more time. Poorscythe on his end has been executing very, very well. Has been making a few mistakes here and there.
Now he's just had the worst RNG so far.
And there's a lot of talk in FF1, right, about how RNG heavy the game is, and it really is. One of the things that separates the higher times on the leaderboards from the lower ones is, or at least the runners that get more consistent higher times, is their decision making. So FF1 has a lot of decision making involved in it, in the sense of how you decide to deal with specific situations that come up, specifically regarding unrunnable encounters, how you decide to kill them, encounters that have that are hard to run away from if you decide to run away from them or kill them. There's a lot of those split-second decisions you have to make, and really deciding what is more optimal is very hard to do on the fly, and so you'll see that from runners that get really consistent fast times, is that their ability to think on the fly is a lot better. They make better decisions, and it really does save them over the course of a run. A lot of RNG mitigation. It's like, even if you get bad RNG, if you deal with it appropriately, it doesn't cost you as much time as a lot of people think it does.
Soma's getting some high damage rolls from his Thief. This bodes well for his endgame.
So Poorscythe, having caught up to Soma after Soma had a bad volcano, and that unrunnable Ogre Mage Hellhound did slow him down a bit. Poorscythe, with the rare fire elemental on him, has to stop and fight it.
I do want to know, Poorscythe has really good HP rolls at the moment.
Yeah, if he thinks he's behind, I wouldn't put it past him. Go tonicless at Chaos.
Malorith here only has 1440 HP, so she'll die very quickly. But
The
that
one
is
thing
a
to note about
significant...
these... Sorry. The one thing
I
to
was
note
gonna
about
say
these two
that.
runners is that Poorscythe has a lot of experience running this game. I think he's been running it for 3 years. And so he's seen most of what this game has to throw at him, and he knows the risks involved or he knows the risks he can take and the risks involved in doing so, and he does not hesitate to do it when he thinks it can catch him back up. So you will probably see that from him. If the race stays close towards the end and he knows it, you will see a lot of risk taking from him.
Soma's now final spells, as will Poorscythe.
Soma getting lucky, his ninja leveled up enough for him to pick up haste. That'll speed up both Chaos and T-Mat 2 a little bit. By having the ninja capable of casting haste as well, gives 2 haste in the first round. Adds a little bit of DPS over the course of the fights. So this is really, it's going to come down to Sunken as to who comes out with the lead. Sunken has a very, very nasty and runnable encounter pool. And both runners are going to be hoping to not see a lot of them.
There are 3 distinguishable unrunnable encounters in the Sunken Shrine. And every floor has a chance at one of them. I believe 4 of them have 2. Or maybe all 3. I don't remember the layout exactly. I'd have to look it up again. But it's really bad.
So a lot of the reason that these new routes have success, opposed to the Barbarian Sword route that we used to have, is that the Barbarian Sword is not very good at dealing with large attacks, especially here in Sunken. The 8 or 9 block of Sahuagin Prince and Chiefs is the main one that comes to mind. You see it up on Soma's screen right now. The ability to kill them with a single tier 2 spell, Thundara, or the Gauntlets on Poorscythe's case, as opposed to using a Judgment Staff to get rid of them, is a huge difference, especially considering the frequency that you see them in here. Soma getting 3 encounters on the first floor of Sunken is pretty bad luck. Poorscythe got 2. Soma had the unrunnable on top of encounters. So Poorscythe took the lead momentarily, but that Space Snake encounter is going to come down a little bit.
And
so yeah, I
they're
figure
just going to high five.
Yeah, I figure they're going to start trading the lead all the way up until Chaos. I really do.
Soma had a longer stretch on it 4F. So both runners on 5F now. Soma, I believe, does 2F Light Axe. Poorscythe does 4F Light Axe. So you're going to see a little bit of a route divergence here. Very slight one, as Soma's going to teleport twice, and Poorscythe will only teleport once.
It depends. If Poorscythe knows he's behind, he may go for a second floor Light Axe.
I don't know. Let's see how much of a risk he wants to take.
Yeah, because there's more encounters on 4th floor, so...
Oh, he's going for it.
Okay, he's going for it.
Oh, man. Not always. They are not always so close.
Let me see here. Our closest race, I actually have that pulled up, was a 9-second difference between Poorscythe and Cruel. The next closest race was Leonis and Cruel at 19 seconds. And then Soma and Terralyn at 36 seconds for a difference.
So Poorscythe's some bad luck on his 4F strat. Got 3 encounters, none of them unrunnable, which is the scary part of doing this strat. And he's going to get into his menu now, so he's going to catch up a little bit of extra time, as Soma now has to go out of his way on 2F to pick up the Light Axe and do a menu still.
Ooh, some bad menuing there.
Yeah, I'd say Poorscythe lost about 8 seconds in that menu, unfortunately, as opposed to optimally doing the menu. Now, Poorscythe is one of the better runners in the FF community when it comes to menuing, so I'm sure he's shaking his head at that one at this particular moment in time. Soma taking a little bit of extra time to make sure he's actually doing the menu properly, as opposed to just rushing through it. And Soma comes out of the menu, and he looks like he forgot survival by the night, which slowed him down a little bit. He's getting off of 2F before Poorscythe gets there, so he has the lead. Poorscythe on 2F, you're going to see him completely skip the light axe on this floor as he already has it. Poorscythe, huge stretch and counterless, able to catch up a tiny bit of time as Soma's getting hit with a high encounter rate on.
Ooh. I was kind of hoping to see them high five and getting the water element. Opting to
Poorscythe,
physical
interestingly, electing to. That's interesting.
I do believe he is pulling a me and just hacking and slashing his way through.
At 3 enemies, knowing that you're about to come up to Kraken and you're going to need to physical them anyway,
Yeah.
not necessarily a bad decision. As he's going to have to move his cursors around to kill them and then go back to kill Kraken. Again, that's one of those split-second decisions that you have to make it. Am I going to physical them or am I going to magic them? If you hesitate, you're going to lose time.
Alright, I'm back. Looks like my internet died at just the perfect time.
Welcome back, comrade.
Shoutouts to Comcast.
It's actually not Comcast.
We're going to shut them out anyways.
So yeah, this cutscene takes about a minute. It's like 55 seconds, I do believe, from the end of Kraken all the way to when you can move again. And now to Waterfall Cave. This is obviously the best place in the game.
Yep, if this was the NES version, you'd see a bat on top of a rooftop, 25 or 50% of the time.
It's true.
I think they did fix that. I think they did fix that in this version.
Ouch! Ice Gigas for Poorscythe. Gonna stop and kill that one.
It's fine. Someone will get that blocked.
Ice Gigas is unrunnable, and I see that bat turning towards Soma. He might get bat blocked.
Oh, ooh, please let me commentator curse this.
Move back, get out the way.
We'll see after this nightmare. Yep, he got bat blocked.
I got my commentator curse off for the night. We
It
get
was a very
boys.
quick move. Very quick move by the bat, didn't cost too much time. The encounter you
Poorscythe's
don't
in
want
the
to see here is the nightmares. Nightmares are still kind of difficult to run from, even with the survival vest.
Poorscythe's making it look easy.
Nightmares are a fairly common encounter in this place, and Poorscythe has the lead now.
Yeah, Poorscythe made it look really easy. I do believe it was second character run both times.
This may be close to Gold Waterfall. He's gotten a really solid encounter on his end.
I am curious.
Robot's in a nice position.
Yeah, Robot in a nice position. And that's Poorscythe with the lead at Q.
I want to see if he golded that. I really do.
Wait, did Soma put a Lordly robe on his White Mage's armor slot? Thought I saw a regen tick.
He did not gold his warp cube.
We'll have to keep an eye on that. If there is a Lordly Robe on the armor slot, that's going to slow someone down as the regen ticks take a second and a half or 2 seconds. It's a slight time loss, but it adds up over the course of the run.
He did. So he had Lordly Robe on all 3 slots.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's a mistake on Soma's part that might cost him.
So Poorscythe is
the
already
Lordly
in
Ropes
moment.
has, so the Lordly Ropes has a regen on it. So every round you will regen a little bit of HP. It's about 50. But the regen only applies if it's in its correct slot as an armor. So by equipping it on the gloves and the helm, you don't get the regen tick because it's not in its correct slot. So you get the intelligence boost of the Lordly Robes, but without the slow side effects. And 2 Lordly Robes and a Sage's Staff is enough intelligence to get full heals off on Chaos. What Soma should have in his armor slot is a travel vest to help him run away.
It's not really that long, it just adds up over time.
Any encounter that lasts more than 1 round, like if you fail to run or you get ambushed, it's gonna add that second and a half every time, which could add up to 10-15 seconds. As we've seen, the race has been close enough that 10-15 seconds could make a difference.
It's true.
If he keeps it on for Chaos, that might be the deciding factor.
I'm not sure if it was intentional on his part or if he hasn't noticed.
Ooh, Poorscythe getting NPC blocked.
Lufenia is notorious for NPCs blocking you.
You know what, my past 3 runs of this game, I have not gotten NPC blocked, and I've been so happy about it, and now the next time it happens, I'm going to be so upset.
Ooh, the 1-step encounter for Soma. Luckily, it's not an unrunnable.
Oh hey, someone got the Winter Wolves that
Unfortunately-
Poorscythe just ran away from. Oh, they're just trading the Winter Wolves now. Okay, got it.
Unfortunately, the forest tiles in this game have the highest encounter rate of anything in the game, and you have to traverse forest tiles so often that it's extremely annoying.
And marsh tiles are your friend, wherever
Yep.
you see them. Desert tiles are pretty nice too. There's not a high encounter rate on them.
So we'll have one last chance of a Tyrannosaur when he exits the Mirage Tower. Oh, Soma getting really unlucky now with those Minotaur zombies.
He'll be fine. He's got spells. He can handle it.
And coming up shortly is our is the game's most famous rare encounter, the Warmech. So we need some bless RNG in the chat, please, to hopefully see our favorite death machine.
Now, hold on. You can't bless RNG early here. Last time we did that, kid got like 3 blue dragons and 5 encounters.
That was true. That was a sight to see.
We can't do that too early here. But go ahead and do it. I want to see that again.
The blue dragon, as a rare encounter, is a 1 in 64, and Kabetha in her previous race got it 2 battles in a row, and what was it? Yeah, 3 out of 5, I think you said.
Yeah.
The odds of that are just astronomical.
It's like 1,339 to 1 or something like that.
I should note that the blue dragon Poorscythe is currently fighting is not a rare forced one. So Given that technically had 4 blue dragons, would have still had to fight this. Well, there's a blue dragon from somewhere.
Yeah, it was 1,339 to 1. People calculate.
crazy.
Clean 1F. Clean 2F. Steamrolling through Flying Fortress right now. Clean 3F.
Oh my god. Can he do it? Up. Everybody get those blessed
Single encounter
RNGs.
4F is not bad either.
There's the chance this Flying Fortress is a gold split for Poorscythe. His encounter rate's been really good. And this is
Healing
the
just
floor.
in case he gets Warmack.
It's a clean 5F.
Oh,
He still has a
5F.
chance to get Warmack after Tiamat, but
Since it is a map transition, the chances of that are very low that he'll get a battle.
it's true.
And a 116 Tiamat Poorscythe on pace for sub 130. On average, from Death Eye to Chaos, 11 minutes. Or from Death Eye to Final Split. And it usually only takes about 2 minutes to hit Death Eye. So Poorscythe about on 129 pace right now.
Sub 130 height.
The impossible time.
Do what?
It's impossible to get that time.
Man, how are you gonna feel once I practice my menus and I bop you, man? How are you gonna feel about that?
You'll just be like everyone else that's bought me. I'm used to it at this point. Still have a chance for that one I can counter on Soma side.
Poorscythe out of Flying Fortress. Got about a minute and a half lead going into Chaos Shrine. That is pretty significant. It's very easy to make up a minute and a half in Chaos Shrine. But it's also very easy to not gain a minute and a half.
Black Flan is the 6 in 64 encounter on that floor. It is a 1 in 64 encounter on this first floor of the final dungeon. And I know that because I've gotten that encounter back-to-back before. Pretty clean Tiamat fight.
I think my rarest stretch of rare encounters was 3 consecutive Abyss Worms. Which is an encounter you'll only find in it's an Earth Gift, yeah. 1 in 64 on the Desert.
That's pretty notorious. Abyss Worms also show up in the Labyrinth of Time. I forget what the circumstances are, though.
They're not as rare.
Yeah, they're not as rare, and they will eat you. They're very deadly.
Unrunnable Purple Worm from Poorscythe, gonna slow him down a little bit on his way to Death Eye. And there's the Preempt White Dragons. Welcome to Chaos Shrine, they say.
We are your friends.
Man, Purple Worms and Leo wasn't around. Leo loves Purple Worms.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, the Green Dragon. Where's that black robe?
Where's that not letting them get multiple turns off?
Greek dragons are scary if they ambush you with poison gas. Does a lot of damage, and since you're not equipping ribbons on some of your characters and Chaos, you don't have the protection against it that we used to have.
If they have the survival vest on, though, they will have that protection. That particular piece has poison elemental. But if they don't have that on, then they're pretty
All
dead.
hail the loot.
Oh yeah, remember that loot that we just nondescript picked up at the beginning of the game? Wait, it gets used here.
Yeah, we carry it in our bag of holding the entire game, along with various pieces of equipment, armor, robes, staves, other key items that are only used once.
The floor before and after death, runnable encounters, bajillion of them that can spawn on here. Ideally, you see Black Knights and you just run away from them. Poorscythe getting unlucky. Green dragons, dragon zombies, Ice Gigas Winter Wolves being the worst of the bunch.
Ideally, you don't see anything.
However, that is exceptionally rare. And you're more likely to see a Warmech than you are to not see an unrunnable.
Oh hey, look, an ambush by Dark Wizards and Dark Fighters. That only happened like an hour after I wanted it. I guess 40 minutes after I wanted it.
Thankfully, you have enough elemental protection now that Firaga is as scary as it is in Cavern of Ice, where it will one-shot you. Double purple worms for Poorscythe on White Dragon floor.
Soma did not heal up after that. Interesting. Or
He
did he?
did.
I just not see it?
He did.
Oh, he did? Okay.
Yeah.
So Soma on pace for 133. Poorscythe still on 130 pace.
So, if you guys remember those dungeons we went through, like, early on in the game, this is the Earth floor. It holds Lich.
And
elementals
Poorscythe
are
opting not to
unrunnable.
use... They are unrunnable, and Poorscythe opting not to use the Mage's Staff, which would have killed them.
It's a damage roll.
Yep.
So the Mage Staff is a damage roll.
Yeah.
It's a 2-round fight, so it's a calculated risk. You just stop them and take the time loss.
I found that out the hard way. Also, we talked about Lich having Blizzara earlier. He has Flare here. But he died, so it doesn't matter.
So Soma, with a slight mistake, using Fyra twice to take out the Ice Gigas Winter Wolves, a single Judgment Staff will. Not an incredible time loss, but slightly unoptimal. White Dragon ambush for Soma. The Black Mage might be in a spot of trouble here, but he should overall survive this, provided he runs. And you see that regen ticket starting to come into play here, as he's gotten multiple fights with more than one round. Of course, that Marilith being nice with the physical today, no Fyraga.
So Soma, that's a bold strategy for Soma. He's seen it multiple times and still hasn't changed it yet. I'm surprised he's still letting that Lordly Robe tick.
He might have seen it at this point and thought it was not worth the risk to change it back, being this far in.
Maybe.
Because he will have to stop in menu to get rid of it.
He'll have to menu one more time anyway, so maybe he's just waiting for chaos.
At that point, you would just leave it on for chaos.
Yeah, the extra heals, man.
If you're...
He's already got the Lordly Robe. Yeah, he's already got the Lordly Robes and Ribbon on White Mage. His Black Mage is the only one that he's not got a robes or a ribbon on yet.
Players
this is gonna
characters here.
This is gonna wipe him out, I think.
Mm.
Oh, this is...
That's not good.
No.
He needs to Phoenix down and use that Mega Elixir. I mean, he picked up a Mega Elixir. He could get away with it.
Yep. And
Is he gonna
Lich is being
YOLO
really
this?
nice not using. Lich is being really nice and not casting magic.
He is YOLOing this.
He is. His
This
next
is
spell is
costing him too
stop,
much
which
time,
won't.
though.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, there's the feeling. I think he just realized now that he.
It's okay. It's okay. Lich will flare. He revives somebody. Oh, no. Never mind.
He should be
There
fine
we go.
now.
That
He
was
got
That
very
was
fortunate.
very risky. And not only was it risky, but it cost him a lot of time that he could have saved by simply Phoenix Stone.
So yeah, Poorscythe won't be going tonicless.
No, he can't. His Black Mage is way too low in HP.
I can see him not tonicking the ninja.
Fine.
Yeah, I can definitely see him not tonicking the ninja.
Yeah,
the ninja
his
should be
ninja's fine.
On
Yeah, ninja
Soma's
should be
end, I
fine.
can. If I was Soma at this point, I would not tonic at all. But I think he's far enough behind that it's too late. At this point.
Someone's gonna have to tonic the Black Mage.
Black Mage.
That depends on if Poorscythe finishes Chaos before he gets it.
True.
And this is an elimination round, so it's all in or go home at this point for Soma. Poorscythe is too far ahead to not take the risk.
That's fair. Yeah, because Chaos can give you a straight physical cycle.
So Poorscythe at Chaos, Soma on Kraken floor, about 2 minutes separating the two of them. Poorscythe, all he has to do here is play it safe, and he's got this in the bag. Soma with is that an encounterless Kraken floor?
That was
I think
encounterless.
that made up a lot of time.
Insane. Yeah,
That's-
Soma just on it at least a minute there.
That never freaking happens.
I've never had it zero encounter Kraken in my life.
I've had that once.
I've had a single encounter Kraken floor, never.
You've had it once, and
Yep.
Never mind. Never mind. I'm not gonna say it. I'm not gonna be that guy. So he is actually tonicking both his ninja and his Black Mage. I don't
Poorscythe
blame
with
him.
the lead that he has.
I
with
don't
the
blame
lead that he has. There's no reason for him to take the risk here. Play it safe, run out the clock. So I'm a Mind Flayer ambush, and that might be the final nail in the coffin.
So Mind Flayers really aren't as scary at this point, because Mind Flayer's physical attacks do have a chance of one-shotting you, but the ribbons kind of tell that
Mind
no.
Blast. That Mind Blast.
Actually, that Death Touch is not elemental, and the ribbon will not protect you from that.
Oh, neat. Oh, he got away. Nice.
Unless they change the Death Touch in this version, but in the original NES version, it is not elemental. And that can wipe you out regardless.
I don't think they changed the properties. They just lowered. The
If I do recall, the ribbon in this version also takes place of Pro Ring.
I believe that is accurate.
So
And that ribbon.
That's team
lack
down
of
for
ribbon
Soma.
on-
Poorscythe is that hold extra win at this point. He should be finished before someone even gets into the fight. That Mind Flayer encounter was the last straw for Soma. Poorscythe has this one. Unless the only thing that could save Soma right now is Chaos crit the White Mage with a physical attacking kill. That's it. 128.
mind.
Poorscythe.
Nice.
GG to Poorscythe. Well, what was his SRL time?
128.40.
Okay. Let's
So
see.
congratulations
See
to
where we are.
Poorscythe. Poorscythe advances to the next round. We'll play the winner of Green Cleric and Leonis. And Soma's finishing up Chaos. But this is it for him.
Soma probably opting not to tonic his ninja after all. Ooh, that was close. That was close. And Poorscythe also got a really decent chaos fight. Wasn't?
Oh, that's unfortunate.
Oh,
Yeah,
and Soma
that's a
tactically
wipe for
reset
Soma.
there.
I don't think he
And
saved. That's a wipe.
And joining us now is Poorscythe. GG, sir. Congratulations.
Thank you, guys. Ooh. So I didn't see what happened to Soma. What happened there?
Soma
He,
got Cyclone, Tsunami Cycloned, and both Ninja and Black Mage went down. So no save.
And no save. Ouch.
No save.
So did he officially forfeit then?
Yeah, the forfeit was already registered.
Okay.
So you were behind for most of that, Poorscythe. I'm quite impressed you managed to claw that one back. Again, it seems to be the thing you have the habit of doing. Coming back from behind to win.
Yeah, I just keep getting slammed with encounters, and it's frustrating, but it's not always a bad thing, because it gets me experience. And I don't know, it just has to keep me focused at that point. I mean, you can't really afford to screw up when you keep getting a ton of encounters, because otherwise you're blowing your chance to try to catch up later on.
Yeah, part of your comeback, as we pointed out, was Soma made a few mistakes that ended up ultimately costing him. I don't know if you were watching the stream, but he had Lordly Robes on his White Mage armor slot, so he was taking regen ticks, and just a few mistakes in dealing with specific encounters. But your run was extremely clean, minus a couple slow menus. I saw you kind of hesitate in a couple of them, but your execution got you back into this one, and that's why you're moving on to the next round.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, there's just everybody that's still left is a strong competitor, so it's not easy. It's not easy any of these matches at this point.
So Poorscythe, I have a question for you. When you saw the white dragon in the ice cave, what went through your mind?
Like, this is typical.
Were you cursing me? I'm sure you were cursing me.
I was not cursing. I actually didn't curse too much. The only thing that was really frustrating me was right before I got to the Earth Rod, I think I had like 3 back-to-back ambushes.
Oh
and,
yeah,
and one of them was like
nasty.
one of them was like a 9 undead ambush too. So I mean, that whole section was awful.
You did have some pretty bad RNG encounter luck to start the game.
Yeah, I wasn't doing too bad. I didn't feel like it was doing too bad. I know I was ahead of him early, and then I think he caught up. And I know he was ahead at that point, and I just was biding my time, and I think it flipped in Waterfall, you said, finally?
Yeah.
Yeah. You had caught up into the volcano, and then you were trading the lead back and forth for Sunken. He came out of Sunken ahead, but your Waterfall was a lot better than him. You didn't look back after that.
I'm actually really surprised.
Your flying was amazing.
Yeah, the flying was good, but Sunken surprised me because until the last floor, I didn't have any unrunnables, but I still lost a minute there compared to my PB. I think just from the volume of encounters that I was getting.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
you went to the 4th floor and you got 3 encounters. Luckily, none of them unrunnable, but you still got.
I mean, the only unrunnable was the water elementals on the final floor, and I went with physical attacks because it was right before Kraken, and I didn't want to switch my commands.
Yeah, that's what I assumed. I mentioned that in my
Yeah.
commentary. That's why I figured you did that.
And then the same thing kind of with most of the rest of the things. I didn't change my commands where I needed to, and then on Chaos I tonic the Thief because I know there's a small, albeit non-zero chance that he could still die even if he's just a little over 300, and I knew I had enough of a lead so I could afford it.
Yeah, Soma had Lich 2 problems. I think that's what really sealed it, was Flare took out his warrior as well. So he was just left with the white mage. And he spent 8 turns casting physicals on the white mage. Like, the white mage was just trying to smack it to death. But he did pick up a Mega Elixir in Citadel. So what I was surprised at was that he didn't Phoenix down the Mega Elixir to get out of that situation.
I was also a little surprised in Citadel, considering how many encounters I had, that I still was a little short of 19 exiting Citadel, so I basically took an extra Dragon Zombie there just to make sure I hit 19.
Yeah, you had a large unrunnable pack coming out of Ice Cavern. I thought you had enough.
Yeah, I mean, I know I had the Ice Gigas, I know I fought like the White Dragons and everything, and I've just fought a ton of Pisco Demons. I probably had at least 6 or 7, maybe 8 Pisco Demon encounters between all the various locations, which was getting frustrating because my route is a little iffy against that many.
Yeah,
Pisco Demon
Pisco Demons is the one thing that your route doesn't like. I pointed that out a couple times as well.
Yeah, I mean, I knew if I had gone with Soma's route, that would have been better served and probably saved me a little time there, but I'm also familiar with my route and I didn't want to switch. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Go with what you're comfortable with.
I mean,
it's got you this far.
Yeah, I'm very satisfied overall with that run. Because, I mean, especially in the back half of it, I really didn't feel like I made any huge mistakes or anything. I just took advantage of what was given to me and I mean, just powered through until I got it. And I mean, Soma was hanging in there and it was doing very well. And I think it's just his inexperience that is hurting him. But other than that, he's like a fine runner.
Yeah, no,
maybe,
his
but
times are
he still had a chance to catch up at Chaos if a couple things went his way, but he got the Mind Flayer ambush on Tiamat's floor, and then he opted not to safety save before Chaos. I mean, the ambush was the nail in the coffin, as pointed out by Double.
And he had a zero encounter Kraken 2 floor. Like,
yep,
he caught up a minute on Kraken 2. Like, that was insane.
Yeah, my Kraken wasn't even that bad, but I mean, I just kind of figured I built a nice lead from Waterfall up through, I think, Flying Fortress. And at that point, I just didn't really give him any room to maneuver if he didn't get very cooperative RNG from that point on. So I just kind of squeezed him out.
So I'm sure you'll be watching the Green Cleric Leonis race in anticipation to see who your next opponent will be.
Well, this is the farthest I've gotten in one of these tourneys because I got to top 6 2 years ago, and then I got knocked out a lot earlier last year. So I'm happy to make it this far, and I'm still looking forward to trying to fight my way to the grand final. But I've got at least, I think, 2 more matches to get there in the first place.
You mean that rematch versus Cruel?
Yeah, and 2 matches against really good opponents. Like
yep.
the winner of Green Cleric and Leo, both of them are good. Kabetha is really good. And then if you manage to fight your way through all that, you have Cruel, who, as everybody knows, is the luckiest tournament racer in the history of speedrunning. So you have to fight both him and the luck that comes with him.
So I just want to say that the 2 people I raced against in the bracket stage are still in this tournament. I had no chance.
You have a
rigged.
Yeah, I mean, it's actually just a really strong bracket, and up until last week, we still have 2 runners of the of my group that were still in the tournament until I got knocked out.
Right. Yeah, because God, who was in your bracket? I don't even remember now.
It was Shinbreaker 7, myself, and Kabetha.
Oh yeah.
That's a pretty strong bracket, too.
That is.
Yeah. Yeah, we've had some really strong runs this tournament.
I mean, if I keep putting up times like this, I think I can take anyone But it's up to the game at that point, just to and how well they do.
Yeah.
128 with the RNG that you have is a pretty impressive time.
Yeah, and
I'm sure
a bunch of-
Limitless is looking at your clock right now saying, damn, I need to get that 130 at that one time.
That is 5th place on the best races.
Yes, it is. That actually will bop Green Cleric's time off the top 10, but that's still a really good time.
So thank you guys for watching. Thanks everyone for tuning in and watching us. I know there's a million things going on the many Speed Gaming channels today. So
I think it just switched to Speed Gaming 5.
yeah,
Alright,
it did.
Ready in the setup channel.